Mr. Agnew.
Thank you, Minister. I was very interested to hear you talk about a poll finding of enthusiasm for the European Union and Ireland of about 85%. Actually, I'm quite astonished at that, given what's going on in Ireland and at the last referendum there, where that was the second referendum on the Lisbon Treaty. In the first one, they voted no. The second one, there were threats about, well, you'll lose jobs if you don't vote yes. So they voted yes, and what happened? Ryanair laid off hundreds of people as soon as that yes vote went through. And it did seem very, very cynical. It really did. I understand in 2012 that 80,000 people have actually emigrated from Ireland, which in recent years is a very, very high figure. I'm not talking about the potato famine, but you wonder why they feel they had to do this. The Irish Examiner and the Eurostat figures show that Ireland has paid 42% of the total cost of the European banking crisis, which for every man, woman and child in Ireland is very nearly €9,000. It's a huge burden to take on. And of course, with that Maastricht Treaty, they lost their Irish currency and the control of their interest rates. With the Nice Treaty, they lost control of the borders and the immigration. And of course, with Lisbon, it's all political union. And this fiscal union treaty is a big step towards their whole all their tax affairs being centralised. And these things will no longer be approved in your Dáil, but over here. And I just wonder why they're so enthusiastic about that. Particularly that they spent years and years trying to get independence from Britain. They were determined to be independent, and yet they've walked in to another dependency. And actually tomorrow I'm voting in the Agri Committee on an astonishing proposal that ploughing and exploitation of carbon-rich soils has to be banned. I mean, that goes to the root of Irish rural life, and I wondered which way you would vote. I'm obviously going to vote against, but if that goes through, that's going to cause devastation, I would have thought, in Ireland. And you fought hard to get Britain out of your affairs, fair enough, but obviously, as a British citizen, I don't really want the Irish presidency interfering in the lives of British people. I think that's understandable. Particularly in view of the fact, of course, that the British taxpayers are net contributors and the Irish people are net recipients. And, of course, we've lent you a great deal of money to try and get out of this euro crisis. But finally, we do agree on something, Minister, and that's the issue of gay marriage. You and I think that civil partnerships are fair enough, and you and I think that homosexuals getting married is simply the wrong way to go about things. And I think you put it very well. You've said that marriage is primarily about children, the main purpose being to propagate and create. I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you very much.
I would like to comment. I don't often agree with Mr Agnew with regards to the Irish people keeping faith. I don't believe that that would be the case, particularly with regards to the impact of austerity measures across the 26 counties primarily, and I fundamentally disagree with both your positions with regards to gay marriage.
Mr Agnew, thank you for your comments. You said that you're astonished with the Red Sea poll, which was commissioned by the European Movement Ireland. I'm not astonished because it stacks up absolutely with all of the Eurobarometer polls on Ireland's attitudes to the European Union since we joined, going back 4 decades. And I think, you talked about the Lisbon Treaty, where we had a referendum in Ireland and the Irish people voted no on the first occasion. They changed their mind. People change their minds all the time. They're fully entitled to do so. Because you didn't mention the 60-40 resounding yes result we had to the Fiscal Compact Treaty less than a year ago. And that's a very interesting barometer of public opinion in Ireland, because it showed that after years of very difficult circumstances in Ireland, very difficult decisions, and yes, a huge burden placed on the shoulder of Irish citizens. Irish people voted very clearly for European solidarity, for a European solution to what is a shared problem at EU level. Ireland is not alone with the challenges we face. We are not isolated. As you mentioned, countries like the UK, and Sweden and others participated in bilateral loans to my country. We benefited from access to the EFSF, the EFSM. We have access, not that we will require it, but should we want it, to the ESM. So, European solidarity at a time of crisis, I think, shows, well, firstly, it demonstrates the need for that solidarity, and also the fact that, that Irish people have chosen for a European solution to our common challenge.